this dude, Dinesh D'Souza, and his attachment to the fake Hunter Biden laptop. Let's see.
We're reaching a very interesting situation with regard to Hunter Biden.
Yeah, very interesting.
Because the question has been posed to Joe Biden about Hunter Biden, and
he's pretty sure he's his son, and he's been his son for quite some time, but they're still checking.
Joe Biden has essentially said, A, Hunter Biden did nothing wrong, nothing unethical, and number two, Hunter Biden, quote, never made money in China. Wow. Never made money in China. Now, these statements are...
Well, he didn't. In the one case, people in China invested their money outside of China, and Rosemont Seneca, the company, actually used it. That would be, I think, the theory there. They didn't give money to Hunter Biden's company to therefore invest in a company in China. That makes sense.
False. And yet the White House, this is the problem with being a Kate Bedingfield or being a Jen Psaki, you are a sort of administration parrot. And by that I mean if the
they're the spokesperson for the administration. A parrot, though.
Mm-hmm.
Whoop. That was weird.
Reasons for why that's the case.
Why is the audio just went for a second? Hold on. Give me 1 second. Being weird. Turn it off. Turn it back on. Try that.
White is black. You have to go out there and give reasons for why that's the case. So
oh, you mean like Sean Spicer?
Your job is essentially one of being the propagandist for the...
Oh, yeah. So the White House spokesperson is now a propagandist for the administration. Not during the Trump administration, of course. The Sean Spicer coming out and saying this is the greatest crowd that ever watched an inauguration in the history of ever, and we're the greatest thing ever. That's not propaganda.
Senile dotard in the White House.
There's no Dinesh on screen. What's happening? See? Keep the video off. Oh, I see. No video? Clip isn't on screen. Oh, I see. Hold on 1 second. Did that work? Hold on. Beg your pardon. I switched over to the thing. Beg your pardon. Sorry, guys. You asked for it.
You are a sort of administration parrot. And by that I mean if the administration essentially says up is down or white is black, you have to go out there and give reasons for why that's the case. So you're...
And our guest today, Sean Spicer, is going to explain how that's wrong and no one should ever do it.
Job is essentially one of being the propagandist for the senile dotard in the White House.
Yikes. The senile dotard in the White House. Dotard, if you don't know, is actually the term that Kim Jong-un used for Trump. Also, obviously he didn't see Biden's speech this morning.
And so you've got the White House staff now essentially repeating with a straight face Biden's brazen lies. And all of this is happening while there's an ongoing investigation by U.S. Attorney David Weiss in Delaware. And the media is reporting, not only locally, but I've seen some national reports, that Hunter Biden may well be indicted.
Yeah, but that's tax stuff. That has nothing to do with the laptop. And he may very well not.
Oh, think about this. This is not only, talk about this as a shock for the White House.
Not so much.
A shock for Biden. Well, not really a shock for Biden. Biden's shock is we got caught. What? Our wall of protection somehow never worked.
Yes, that's the shock that's going on right now. You have been paying attention to the war in Ukraine and jobs numbers lately. No, you haven't been. You missed that?
Think of what a repudiation this would be of the media, of the Washington Post, the New York Times, CNN. All these people have been saying, they've been first of all saying that the Hunter Biden laptop was Russian disinformation.
Yeah, it's the contents of the hard drive that they're passing around is Russian disinformation. The laptop itself doesn't exist. The Washington Post New York Post and the New York Times have been saying interchangeably hard drive and laptop. That's their failure. There is no laptop.
After that, they said it's a non-story.
It's a non-story.
But I've been thinking about why the New York Times and the Washington Post have rushed to confirm the Hunter Biden laptop.
They didn't. They confirmed that they looked at a hard drive. It's not the same thing. If you read the article, it's not a confirmation at all.
Recent weeks, and I think the reason is it's not because they've become journalistically honest momentarily. No, they're just the same deceitful snakes that they've always been.
Okay, so when they say they've seen the laptop and it turns out they only looked at a copy of a hard drive 30 copies deep, that their own texts say is, quote, a disaster, that falls in line with what you used to think about them when they would talk shit about Trump.
But they've realized if there's an indictment, this is going to make us look foolish. So let's pretend like we ourselves, through our own dogged and relentless journalistic efforts, have confirmed the Hunter Biden laptop. And that way, when the indictment comes, if it comes, we'll go, yeah, well, we ourselves.
Yeah, the indictment that's up has nothing to do with the contents of the laptop at all. It doesn't. Never did.
Reported that the laptop was legitimate. But the new line of defense from the left is none of this has anything to do with the president.
Oh, I'll go even further. None of this exists. And I guess under Dinesh's descriptives, I fall under the quote-unquote left. So therefore, as the duly noted spokesperson for the I guess the Hunter Biden angle in the left, I would like to say it doesn't exist. The statement is and has always been that.
So they move. This is the kind of hopscotching from one lie to the next. So the first lie is Hunter Biden is completely clean. And
well, nobody ever said that. The man had a crack addiction.
Of course, to this moment, Joe Biden's line. Once that becomes untenable, the next line of defense is, yeah, Hunter, Hunter, the kids of presidents sometimes get out of control. It's not the first time it's happened.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen Don Jr. baked out of his fucking brain and obviously high on lots of stuff while making Rumble videos. We don't necessarily judge the presidency based on that. Oh, because his dad's not president anymore.
He used his father's name. Is he the first guy to use the name of his famous father? Well,
I don't know. Ask Eric.
The point is, all of that is itself deceitful because Joe Biden is completely involved in the Biden family racket.
Yes, that's right. He's a senile dotard who is also a multinational criminal kingpin. That's my favorite right-wing angle of all of them. It's the crisscross of the idea that Biden couldn't find his shoes or finish a sentence, but he's the Godfather meets the Kingpin meets the Joker.
Joe Biden.
And also Enron and Jeffrey Epstein meets what? The Illuminati. He's just basically a one-man Illuminati.
There were meetings arranged by Hunter Biden with Joe Biden.
That didn't happen.
There are all kinds of...
That also are alluded to in this fake hard drive that allegedly came from a laptop that doesn't exist, that relate to meetings that never occurred.
Oligarchs from all over the world congratulating each other in emails. So in other words, when you look at the contents of Hunter...
P.S. Here's for the record, this guy was indicted and is a felon.
Biden's laptop, you see that Joe Biden is directly involved. Moreover, that's now...
No, you don't. There is no laptop.
Confirmed by the guy Tony Bobulinski, who was brought in by the Biden family to manage its business dealings, and Bobulinski makes clear Joe Biden was the big guy. He was getting a cut. So this is not just about Hunter Biden, the whole...
No, actually, Bobulinski does not allege that at all.
Biden family, and by that I mean his brother, James Biden, his other brother, Frank Biden. I mean, this is a whole menagerie of losers. But
Menagerie of losers. You do realize that Biden won the election.
But they're losers who know, well,
they're losers who secretly know how to win. It's the worst kind of loser there is. Unlike Trump, who is a winner who does nothing but lose. It's weird.
Those who can smell an opportunity. And so all of
Yes, losers who can smell an opportunity to win.
them were in on the racket, Joe Biden included. So the big guy sitting in the Oval Office is certainly part of this. And when
Yes, he's part of the administration. He's the head of it, actually.
that last line of defense falls, it may be, I don't think this is likely, but it's not out of the question, that Joe Biden himself ends up under some form of criminal indictment.
Yeah, that'll happen. Yes. I'm sorry, but Dinesh, you yourself have provided a perfect defense for Biden if he ever got indicted on anything, even a trumped-up charge, no pun intended, because he could always claim to be, I think, what was it? Checks notes, a senile dotard.
If the system works, and if, these are big ifs, I admit, the
Well, sure, it's a big if. I mean, this is America, after all.
authorities press this matter, and if, another big if, Merrick Garland does his job, but I think it's becoming
Yes, after Merrick Garland is done going after Trump for the obvious, outrageous, and objectively clear crimes of Trump and his kin, then he'll go after your fart air fantasy about Joe Biden's criminality.
time where Merrick Garland needs to appoint a special counsel
Uh-huh.
because the facts are too.
What, I thought we were still, weren't we waiting on the Durham to handle this? Isn't Durham supposed to cover all this stuff? Have they just given up on him entirely? Is it because none of his indictments have managed to actually change anything materially?
Clear, and the stakes are too high, and the crook of all crooks may well be sitting in the Oval Office.
Yes, the crook of all crooks, who is a senile dotard. It's the worst kind of crook, because they have plausible deniability. They can commit an enormous crime and then honestly say they forgot where they left their keys to the crime. Oh, that's it? That's the whole thing. That's the tail end of that. That's all we get, Demes? Why can't we separate Joe Biden from Hunter Biden's laptop? I thought we were going to learn how we know. Well, golly.